Today, we'll be focusing on a newer breed of goat with some exciting prospects. Watching new breeds get shaped and honed into their own distinctive breed is a remarkable process to observe. And to give you the present and future of the longest lop-eared variety on Earth, we have to start with its ancestors and try to piece together how the Hejazis came to be here with us today. Lop-eared goats aren't uncommon in the Middle East, the most popular of which are probably the Nubian goats. Even the Nubians' impressive ears can't compare with the Hejazi, but the Nubians certainly had a hand in their development. Selectively breeding for the longest ears is a practice that spans thousands of years. There might have been times when it was considered a symbol of status, or just simply because it looked so appealing. Nubians weren't officially recognized on the books until the 19th century, but they've been around for a much longer time than we can even begin to trace. And their ancestry is all over the place: Africa, Europe, Pakistan, Iraq. The degree of crossbreeding and selective lineages are too many to count. Many hands and word-of-mouth agreements have muddled the waters so much that tracing the exact beginnings and structure of the breed is virtually impossible. But Nubians have been genetically stable for almost 200 years, that much we know. And it's here, about 200 years ago, where the Hejazi splits away from the Nubian and their other long-eared cousins. They were named after the Hejaz region in Saudi Arabia, where the biggest collections of herds are still found today. The endgame for this breed relied on three factors: long ears, meat, milk production, and kidding rates. Fertility and milk production are high on the desirability of any dairy animal, that much is obvious. So why so much attention on the long ears then? Because human beings just love to stand out, and we extend those desires over to our animals. We've been doing it with livestock, dogs, cats, clothes, and food for as long as we've been on the earth. And not just because it's aesthetically pleasing, it's also to set us apart from the rest, to lay claim to what we crafted and made ourselves. And the Hejazi is no different. Those exceptional ears set it apart from any other lop-eared breed by quite a few inches. Focused mainly around the countries of Pakistan, Iraq, and Saudi Arabia, the Hejazi was bred with numerous other breeds to promote better fertility, milking, and disease resistance. But they struggled to step out of the realm of experimental breeding and into a productive breed utilized by large-scale farming. For 200 years, or maybe even more, Hejazis were bred by hobbyists and curious farmers that spread their breeding plans through word of mouth, trading does and bucks amongst each other, or simply because an individual showed enough interest. But even with these unregulated societal breedings, the Hejazi came out as a pretty strong milking goat. They are very fertile, their meat is top grade, the breed is on the large side of medium, and those marvelous ears are second to none. The 19th century was very nearly the Hejazi's last century on the earth. More and more farmers moved away from the hobby aspect of breeding Hejazis to focus more on already established breeds for high-demand production purposes. After all, when there's money to be made and demands to meet, hobby breeding takes a back seat. And when the 1990s dawned, the Hejazi was staring extinction right in the eye. There were only 30 to 40 of them left in the whole of Saudi Arabia, and it's thanks to a few small-scale farmers that the breed came back from the brink of death. They went back to the very ways that brought the Hejazi into existence in the first place. By trading calves amongst each other, they kept the small handful that were left from inbreeding too heavily. Even Pakistani goats, various Saudi breeds, and Nubians came in to lend a hand, to add some genetic diversity, and of course, to keep those long ears in place as the Hejazi's trademark. It's thanks to this small community of breeders that breed the Hejazis out of pure love and appreciation that they number in the thousands today. That's not nearly enough to get these beauties into the clear just yet. They are still very much on the endangered list. But this community of dedicated farmers has accomplished what was thought to be impossible in just 30 years. With the helping hand of these dedicated humans, we're sure to have enough Hejazis to step into a full production capacity in no time. And it's not just that they want the Hejazi as a unique animal for the Middle East. That's just a bonus. It's because Hejazis are absolutely perfect for farming in almost every way. Given the necessary crossbreeding that's been implemented to preserve the dying breed, there are still quite a few variations in the Hejazi's size and weight. But for the most part, They stand at more than a meter high. Their legs are unusually long, giving them the advantage of height, but they are on the more dainty side when it comes to weight. Even the larger bucks don't go above 45 kilograms, and that's at the high end. Does ranges between 30 and 35 kilograms. And bucks with an extra bulb of fur on their domed nose bridges are considered especially attractive, and that is one of the key attributes that are actively bred for in both sexes. Their short-haired coats are mostly white with black and brown spotting. Pure whites are quite common, and when spotting occurs, it can be in a wide variety of shades. Most likely, the Hejazis will be kept for their milk and meat production in the future. Does can give approximately 3 liters a day on average, and the quality of their meat is considered excellent. They are not prone to excess amounts of fat, so you'll get a leaner and healthier cut from them. They've adapted to their harsh desert environments marvelously. If they're given enough room, Hejazis are very capable foragers and don't require much extra feed from their keepers. They know what their bodies need, and they'll actively seek out those nutrients even in the driest conditions. Their slim frames were made to climb, jump, and scurry around and over obstacles to seek out sustenance. The only real health factors to look out for is to vaccinate them against any parasites or region-specific diseases in your area. Other than that, Hejazis just want some room to play, forage, and enough familiar humans to extend their sociable nature to. The breed is sprightly and lively. They've been known to jump fences that are over 5 feet high, and they've made it their specialty to escape any confinement that they are placed in. They've been described as mischievous and intelligent, and not at all violent toward humans. Hejazis love attention and play, and they'll actively seek out pettings and cuddles from their human handlers. The big downside to this breed is their most remarkable attribute, those long ears. Their ears can get caught on fencing and foliage very easily, and the kids' ears can hang so close to the ground that other goats often step on them. This tearing can cause permanent damage to their ears. So it's best to keep the little ones separated from the rest of the flock until they grow into their ears. Kids with shorter ears are separated from the rest and not bred with. That is reserved for the does and bucks whose ears reach to their shoulders. Given their rarity and the fact that they've never really been taken out of their Middle Eastern homelands, it's hard to say how well they'll adapt to other climates. But it wouldn't be a stretch to take into account how their close relatives, the Nubians, have adapted outside of the desert. Nubians aren't fond of the cold. That's not to say that they aren't adaptable to cooler temperatures. But when you're looking at a few feet of snow in the winter, that might be pushing their natural boundaries a little too much, and you'll have some very unhappy goats on your hands. And besides, for now, Hejazis aren't going anywhere just yet. The intense backing from their loyal breeders is keeping them right where they are, until the breed can be deemed genetically stable enough to register as its own official breed. Until that happens, they're priced as one of the most expensive breeds to procure, so getting yourself even a small herd is highly unlikely. Even if you are willing to pay $4,000 per kid, the farmers breeding them right now are keeping the few Hejazis that exist close to home. That way, they can monitor its progress more efficiently and keep a rotational breeding schedule between neighbors. If we take into account what the community that rallied behind the Hejazi has accomplished in just 30 years, it's a very real possibility that they'll have the Hejazi firmly on the record books in our lifetime, and by then, their features and production statistics might have changed and adapted slightly, except for those majestic ears. Those lops are here to stay, and they'll forever define the Hejazi as the longest-eared goat in the world. We can't wait to see what the future holds for this tall and friendly goat. How long do you think it'll be before the Hejazi is seen on the market? Our money is on another 30 years, maybe even less than that. Let us know your predictions in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any new uploads. We're here every week with a new and fascinating breed, just waiting for you to discover them. Leave a like and we'll see you next time. Bye.